saw the Republican Party commit a collective and mass sin. They collectively committed the sin of idolatry because they bowed the head, bowed the knee before a false god, before a counterfeit god. And the first of the 10 Commandments, don't do it. God says, have no other gods before me, no other gods besides me, no other gods above me, no other gods below me, no other gods after me, no other gods besides me, no other gods. So here's the GOP. This is just a misguided and mindless effort on their part to be inclusive, to expand their big tent, to show how tolerant they are. But this closing prayer was offered thus by a man who worships Allah. Now, Allah is a counterfeit god, and that counterfeit god is the author of a religion which is, according to Winston Churchill, the greatest retrograde force in all of the world. So it was offered by a man who reveres the warlord Muhammad as a prophet, but does not regard Jesus Christ as the Son of God. So the question then, was this just like a harmless gesture on the part of the GOP, throwing like a bone of diversity and tolerance or whatever to the Muslim community, or was it something that is foolish and maybe even dangerous? Now, what I would suggest and what I suggest in the column is your answer to that question, whether this was just innocent and harmless or whether it was dangerous and possibly sinister, will all hinge on your view of Scripture. If you have a high view of Scripture, as I do, the implication is plain that the Republican Party last night allowed a demonic power to be invited into its building last night. Now, that's hardly an incidental or harmless thing to do. And the GOP allowed the supernatural and evil entity which is behind the religion of Islam to be invoked and invited into that building last night. So think about the contrast here. The Democrats booed God out of their party in 2012. The GOP invited a demon god into its party in 2016. Now, what the GOP was trying to engage in last night and practice last night is multiculturalism. Multiculturalism, ladies and gentlemen, is simply a 6-syllable word for cultural suicide. This nation was built on the Judeo-Christian tradition. It was not built on the twisted values of the Quran. So the Republican Party, ladies and gentlemen, last night wandered dangerously off course. The bottom line here is the Republican Party needs a Christian clergyman to offer an invocation today which cleans up this mess created by this Tahrir individual, an invocation which pulls the party back to the path from its walk in the weeds and restores God to his rightful place as the head of the party. Here's how Jim Garlow put it. He had a note to the Republican Party. If you want Sikhism's Ik Onkar or Muslims' Allah, then don't expect me to show up. You remember that whole first commandment thing about no other gods? I meant it. Make your choice. Note from Yahweh.